sphere of healing. Our sphere of healing, that we're all connected to our higher causal and healing teams. I ask that all of our sixfold protection systems be activated around all of us and around any who enter later. That the composting system also be activated, the golden song, and all of our PTO and tag teams be with us today to help us all. And if there's any additional guidance teams that we need here today with us for wherever our journeys are going to take us, I ask that our healing teams bring those in and have those be part of the circle today also. And we ask that this extend out to the edges of our property and include all of our family members within our property and our four-leggeds or pets and animals and loved ones, and all of the plants and animals on our properties.
Because we
Thank you. Hi, Cinda.
Sorry about all the noise.
It sounded like squirrels should be included in the circle too. So welcome. I just set the circle and ask that anybody else coming in is automatically included in all that we just set. So welcome everybody. Happy New Year if I haven't seen you since last year. So today is just the vision quest, not just a vision quest. I mean, that sounds terrible, but it is the vision quest circle. And the vision quest again is for our personal use. I mean, it may be related to some project you're doing, but it may also be just whatever's going on for you personally, either health-wise or anything that you want to use it for. So welcome everybody. And then we'll go around and place ourselves in the circle. I'm Deborah. I'm in North Carolina, where it's been a beautiful day. It feels like it's almost spring, but it's only been 49 degrees, but everything's acting like it's spring. It's really fun. And we had a group of cedar waxwing birds, yes, 10 of them, and I'd never seen them before. And I have to look it up. I'll look it up in a minute. I was meant to do that for the meeting because I'd never seen them. And plus we've had 2 bald eagles that keep coming, mature adult bald eagles. And, you know, we have like, the great blue heron. So I get a lot of the messages are coming in for me lately in animal forms, whether it be the bats that get in the house. Yeah, it's been kind of fun lately, but the 10 cedar waxwings, I've never seen them before here. It was kind of fun. So I'll look at that. So I'd like to bring in 21 people, especially family members that are traveling overseas starting tomorrow. 5 personal issues, several world issues, and my word is excitement. Sue?
Thank you, Deborah. I'm Sue. Out at Lake Goodwin, there's 3 men on property and they're falling trees. So every now and then you may hear a big, big crash. Bringing in 30 people, 1 personal issue, 1 global issue. And my word, I don't have a word yet. Grace. Well, I call on Evie.
Evie in anacortes. And I'd like to bring in all the trees. 11 people, 2 personal situations, the entire US Congress, and my word is compassion. And I will hand this to Cinda.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be back. Deborah, I just need to know, how are you? How are your hips? How's everything? When you get a chance, fill me in. It's been so long. Gratitude is my word. And I also want to come in with sight and one person and one furry animal and all the shitstorm in the world if it needs help. Absolutely. So, Sharon, have you gone? No.
Okay, Sharon Raji here on Woodby. I want to bring in 13 individuals. The entire world complex that is coming from domination, all those points. And the word I'm bringing in is commitment. And I pass to, I think we've all gone. Alex was, who hasn't gone? Did you?
Oh, is Alex get off?
Yeah, she just popped off. That's why I think that if she comes back in, we can do that. But
Okay, yeah, then we've all gone. So we have 76 people, 7+ situations. Sue, I wasn't sure how many you said. 1. Okay, so 8 situations. We have the world, we have 1 global, the US Congress, trees, 1 animal, the world complex domination, a wild one, something. We have excitement, grace, compassion, gratitude, sight, and commitment. Pretty fun. And I have to laugh, Cindy, that you brought in the World Congress, Abby, because one of the things I've been watching, and it's been so entertaining, riveting, horrifying, roller coaster. And it's kind of, but I've been watching it with this and it's like, wow, it's so obvious. I mean, it's like, it's not hidden agendas anymore. They're there and you can call them. So let's go. But Alex, did you want to place yourself in the circle with your name, where you are, the number of people, world situations you want to bring in, and a word? Alex, did you want to place yourself? There you are. Okay. You're unmuted. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you.
Alex Sandra.
Alex, if you turn off your video, would it improve your speaker? We love seeing you, but we'd also like to hear you. Yeah, okay.
No, I don't know.
This is much better.
I'll try. Now I've had trouble with, okay, I've had trouble with the audio all day, not just for this. I'm Alexandra. I live close to Deb. We're soul sisters, changing the world from little old Sanford, North Carolina. I didn't know I was coming, so I don't really have any count available. I just want healing for all. So that's my word, healing.
Thank you, Alex. And that worked much better. You weren't all broken up when you turned your video off. But when you're on mute, you can turn your video back on and we can see you. Thank you. So do you want to put yourself back on mute and if you're finished?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Okay, so does anybody have anything they want to share today?
Hi, this is Sharon. I just want to share how grateful I am to be able to be with individuals who have a view of what's going on in the world different than what is being propagated out there in the media, who we can help each other have our feet on the ground and stay connected with greater wisdom to take action and live our day in a different way. And I know we could do that alone, but getting together regularly right now is really quite a blessing. So just glad to be with all of you.
And Sharon, I just wanted to bring up today that when we're driving to some of Terry's appointments on NPR, they had a whole segment on the radio about foster care system and with people and ways to improve it and things that just amazing things that you never think about that can be easily improved for some of the kids, and especially when they age out of the system and all. So I was just thinking that that's one of the things that you've been putting into the circle. And there it was, right out there with national coverage for a lot of people that wouldn't have heard it before. Anybody else? Okay. Then I think we'll go into our journey and share afterwards. So again, this is the Vision Circle. And you can ask to go for a particular project you're working on, for a person or for yourself, or just ask where you think you should be taken. And if anybody wants to share what they want to focus on today, that would be good too. So we have time. I think I'll set the timer on my end for 15-minute journey and then bring people back and then we'll share. So we all have our circle of protection, and Alex, when you came in later, it's already set for everybody who came in. So when you're ready, if you want to turn off your videos, you can. Call in your teams and your guides, and I'll see you back in 15 minutes. When you're ready, you can start coming back. Okay. Alex, I'm assuming you're not turning your camera on so you can speak. Would anybody like to share first?
I'll share. For me, it was more of a continuation, personal information, what needs to be done as we move forward to open to doing deeper and greater work in the world, and including and a request from me to my team that we open, that they show us a program that will really more quickly transform the damage done to those in male bodysuits, and so that we can bring that unity and a balance of the male-female mission into its correct position. So that was mine.
Thank you, Sharon. Abby?
I was working with the energies of fear and distrust, which are some of the underlying energies of so much chaos. And I was drawn to the 4 elements. Specifically, though, it went to water. And I didn't get a sense whether water was holding it or whether water was healing it. But it was definitely, there was a strong color of blue there. And I just kind of stayed in the waves around that particular element to break that down. Thank you.
As you say that, I think of all the studies done on the energies that water holds, that they've shown the water molecules, and it can be positive or negative. So, yeah. Thank you.
It's because water's programmable, so it picks up vibrations that is given to it. So it's very much like a clear quartz crystal in that regard. It's programmable.
Well, that was a very gentle healing meditation for me. And when Deborah, you were saying the compost, I just saw all this energy go into it. And so from that point on, I just said, do what you do. Compost everything out of our life. Compost everything that is of a negative energy. Compost what we know and what we don't know that just needs to be transformed. And I just went into peace and let the composting system do its thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Alex or Cinda?
I just got really quiet and was just sitting here in my space. I don't have anything to share except thank you. So it was beautiful.
That's your time. Thank you, Alex. She chatted that she couldn't participate because her husband came home from work. Mine was interesting to say the least. It was partly a continuation of the work Sharon, the group, the Wednesday night group has been doing. And some of the stuff that was being cleared out of the Laniakea Galactic System and some that we had started when I was working with you. And there was some backlash from the outsiders on that. And the mother of Laniakea was showing me that and what needed to be done. And it was just that basically all of the outsiders get the choice. They can go home now and take a new agenda, you know, after they've looked at what they've created and what's next for them from their world, but they're not allowed here. But if they don't do it within a very short period of time, they will not have the option of going back. The galaxy has said that there's a system in place to take them out if they choose not to go back. That their persona non grata and this backlash is not acceptable. So that was mine. So we might want to all have extra protection for the next 24 hours.
Let's just absolutely put down that extra protection that we know of, and just from this point forward, and we'll learn more and more about that as we go forward. So absolutely.
Yeah, just ask your teams every morning, all the time, especially the next 24 hours I get is, you know, if you want to go run to the grocery store, you may want to ask, do I really need to do this? Is this in, you know, is this where I'm supposed to be right now in this moment? And just keep asking and putting on your protection.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what I got.
Thank you very much.
Any sense from any of you of what's happening planetarily right now?
I haven't asked specifically because kind of been focused another direction, but the kind of bits and pieces that are here that aren't really put together in any concise ways. First of all, entirely new blueprint for the solar system, which is planetarily, which includes individually, like Earth, what's going on with Earth, and how we are absolutely vibrationally. That's where we begin, and by energy vibrations create storms, they create weather, they create structures, they, you know, so I'm sure there's things that we could tune into, anybody we could tune into and say, what is this about? I haven't taken the time to do that, but it's definitely been brought to my attention that energy is being shown in ways on the planet also, including what we are getting by words or symbols.
One of the shows I was listening to was, I don't remember which scientist it was, probably Greg Braden. They can see that the that the universe has shifted. And what they're interpreting it as is the consciousness around planet Earth was really dark, has been really dark, and it's getting lighter. It's a higher consciousness we're moving into, and we should have more intuition. It should be easier to access. It should be easier to communicate, work with, tap into the higher consciousness of our higher self, whatever you want to call it. And so I was reminded this morning that the words I am is creating for us all the time. So if I say I am sick, I am tired, I am angry, I am lonely, the universe supports that. And I've just created it for myself. And if I put it out there that I am in perfect health, I am in tune with my higher self, I am spreading love and light, radiating love and light, I am accessing all the wisdom available to me, I am accessing all the possibilities available to me at this time. I'm creating it. And I keep forgetting that. I just keep forgetting it. That's how I co-create. That's how I create my ongoing future. Because sometimes I just get tired, and then I just kind of create from that point, and it's not a high energy creation. It's a very low creation. And I can get stuck in it and think, well, who's doing this to me? What's doing this to me? And I'm doing it. So I have to be really, really careful the wording I use all day long and catch myself. So I keep my energy up so I create higher energy. But the scientists say it's available now, and the blueprint is just the footprint, the blueprint. It's shifting very gently, so we don't have to have chaos in the shift. So for myself, it's like maybe new energy, but I just want to tap into it in a way that is gentle for me, and not painful and not chaotic.
Thank you, Sue. I just looked up my cedar waxwing because I'd never seen them at the house, and there was a flock of about 10 or 12 of them. So it was like, whoa. Let's see, one of them was, there's a bunch of things about them actually, but hang on, trying to get back to the right place. Oh, well. But it's a lot about good things are coming in a transformational way. And family might be added to, and I mean, it's all these really cool things. It's like, okay, that sounds good. So I'll take that. Good. So anything else anybody wants to chat about? But I just say the next 24 hours, just be real clear on your protection, especially whatever that means for you. I am protected.
How's your recovery, Deborah? How are you doing?
Cinda, it's a really wonderful, my hip is doing well. And we had an interesting journey, my husband and I, between the December 3rd, let's see, 3rd and 7th, 9th. I got COVID, and then he passed a gallstone and fell and broke his hip and got positive for COVID. So he had surgery, and it's just been fun. It's just been very fun.
Fun with a lowercase f.
We had a bat in the house. We came back from the hospital on Thursday before Christmas to all of our power outages and things. And so it's It's never been a dull moment. I'll just put it that way.
That was all in December, Deborah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the energy was in December, but I've never had so many things go wrong in 130. Actually, it was like a 2-week period. It just was, if it could go wrong, it did. And it wasn't even
And it-
anything I was expecting.
And what was interesting is my husband luckily was asymptomatic for COVID, but it's like when he fell and broke his hip, it's like, will they take him to the hospital? And the ones here would only take him to the one nearby, which we don't really like for certain things. And so I had to figure out how to get him down to Pinehurst. And my COVID was very exhausting, and COVID brain and things. And so I really had to take my training from here and go, okay, team, my healing team and spiritual team, you hook up with Terry's, and you got to align all of his spiritual healers with the physical healers here and figure out how I'm going to get him to Pinehurst, which is an hour away, and how we're going to get this taken care of, because my brain can't handle it. And if it had been the day before, I would have called the EMTs and said, take them, do what you want with them, because I couldn't have done anything else. I mean, literally have done anything else. So we ended.
Oh,
5 o'clock, he was out of surgery. The operating room was available, the doctors were available, and even the doctor that day and the next day was like, I can't believe it all worked like that.
oh,
So it's like, remember to call in your teams and ask them to line it up. And I had to learn the hard way, because I literally, my brain could not function. It was on COVID brain. So that was my blessing of COVID, was surrender and ask for help.
I remember once my cat was so sick, and I was so sick. And I couldn't help him. And so I just did that. I just gave up, gave it to God, and went to bed, because it's all I had in me. It was years ago. And I woke up to a healthier cat. But yeah, I mean, just truly that surrender, there's power in it. Well, Deborah, you don't know this, I don't think so, but on the 28th of December, I had a fucking heart attack. I had a heart attack. And I'm great and I'm fine, but 2 days in the hospital, and it was frightening and scary. And the heart attack is a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, and it only happens in healthy arteries. And so I don't have any history of heart disease, but I had a full-on heart attack with a 95% blockage due to the torn interior of an artery. It's just so crazy. So I am on the mend and I'm better, and Sharon helped me a lot today. And
So what did they do to repair it?
there's nothing you can do. It repairs itself. So
Well, that's cool.
yeah, you can't put any stent in it or any balloons, because it's the interior, a flap, like this is the artery, and a tear happens, and then it fills with blood between the layers. And so the blockage is a hematoma between the layers of the artery. And it creates the blockage, which creates the heart attack, or can cause the heart attack. And it spontaneously happens. They have no idea why it happens. It usually happens in women who have just given birth to a second child. They think it might be hormonal related. So for me, postmenopausal on hormonal type therapy. But they have no idea what causes it. There aren't that many cases that go through the hospital system, so they don't know. Usually 80%, 90% happen to women, young, healthy women, without any heart disease. So without high cholesterol. So there's no precursor, there's no warning, there's nothing. It was all rather bizarre. So, but I'm recovered, and I'm kind of figured out what it might
I'm
be.
so glad to hear that. And Sharon, you're getting your share of heart attacks to.
Yeah, enough heart.
There's a message here for us for something here, and
the heart.
for the heart. Yeah. And I guess protection for our hearts
Well, it's so
as we're
funny
coming into this. Yeah.
when Sharon walked me through it, what came up for me was protection, but it wasn't protection that was my light. And so I need to protect myself from the protection that isn't my light to make sure that I am protected within my light. So, but
Thank you, God. Thank you, Divinity. Thank you, all our healers.
yeah, I think
and
Sharon's going to
teams.
say something. No, okay.
What a dynamic start to 2023. You know, I was so looking forward to the end of 2022. And you know, I think it was a couple of years ago, I think we were told that it was just going to be a rocking time for, I'm not sure how long, but it seems like there's a lot shifting and it's being reflected in our bodies. I hope our bodies can be claimed, that our bodies be better calibrated to handle all this upheaval and rockiness from whatever energetic place that it's coming from.
Mhm.
Now Alex put her good news in. My good news is that I've been looking for a homeopath who specializes in my genetic weaknesses for several years. And a woman moved to Stanford from Woodby, actually. So she's
Wow.
remedies for her DNA, her constitution, and her specific illnesses. That's our good news. Good job, ladies. Holding it.
And she moved to the community I live in. I haven't met her yet, but it's like she's somewhere, right? I can almost probably see her. Yeah, so it's it was so funny when she was telling me about her, and it's like, and I was looked her up online, and it's like, I wonder if Sharon knows her, because she was from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Well,
So yeah, and 2023, I didn't get to hear this the Spiritual Frontiers group on their first Thursday of the year in January has a astrologer saying what's coming, and I didn't get to hear that one. I had another class, but in the little brief intro, it was like Jupiter or whatever is coming into whatever. But one of the things I said is that it's going to be here for a while, and it affects new technologies. And when I was doing one of our visions a couple of weeks ago, I kept seeing all this new power technology for us to generate power with. Each person can have their own little thing to do stuff. We won't need the power grids and all. And they kept saying, it's closer than you think. It's not 50 years ago way. It's not even probably 10 years away. It's really close. And so when I read that, I'm like, and I saw that afterwards, and I thought, so maybe we're going to also get some really cool new technologies to help with all this stuff.
I just finished watching a YouTube just before this, where they have scientists of quantum physics have looked at the different Stonehenge type things, pyramid type things that we call Phoenix Rising. And they look at them and they can see that they are absolutely like a power board. They aren't communities. They are a power board and feed to a place called Adam's Top or something. It's like the power that is current, and it's measurable. Is measurable. So we were told, what, 5 years, 6 years, maybe 6, 7 years ago, that those places on the planet, all those sacred sites, are holding codes for this time. They held it for them, but they're holding it for us. And we were asked to activate that power grid. And I'll send you the YouTube. They are showing actually there, as they see, there's the power grid, there's the grid, where it's feeding the power to, and it is one of those power grids. When we figure out how to use it, because they did know how, it has more power than is being generated artificially. I mean, so that was exactly what I was being shown this morning, is the power grids and then the sacred sites. And there's something very important about that technology held in the sacred sites, activated vibrationally. Those vibrations are for our use, not just for energy, but for information.
Mm-hmm. And there's another comment from Alex. She said she was speaking at a luncheon at the country club in the community where I live. When the woman, the homeopath, bought her book, Timeless Recipes and Remedies, which includes a section of holistic healing. And then she called her. So meant to be. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. If anybody, Alex, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I have one more thing to say, that the last 2 weeks of December was a nightmare, but everything is being resolved. In the first 2 weeks of January, it's all being resolved easily.
I like that.
So I'm counting on 2023 not being more than I can deal with. And not so much at a time that it pushes my envelope right off the table.
Yeah, you know, there's an interesting trend also that's happening, like at our property on the Columbia River Gorge. We've got 7 vacation homes, and I've had to work pretty diligently on setting boundaries and making sure that only those who appreciate our hard effort to create such beautiful homes for people to stay in will rent from us and honor it and be respectful of the property. And we've really been diligent in that work and in that prayer, and so far so good. Well, recently, if people do make it in and they do get a reservation and they're out of alignment, something usually happens and they get irritated, pissed, or, leave early. And sometimes there's a little bit of a fight, but rarely there's a fight. They're just gone. But recently there's been amazing people on our property that have had some tough things happen to them. I mean, like one woman got horribly, embarrassingly sick while she was staying in our treehouse, and it was over her honeymoon, and there was no way for her to take care of the damage done to the property. She was horrified. And her husband, her brand new husband, texted us and said, "Help, I don't know what you want us to do, and I don't want you to have to be the one to do it." And I said, "Why don't you, if she's feeling better, why don't you guys just give me an hour? Give me an hour." And I went in with masks on and gloves and cleaned everything up and made the home like it was brand new. And so they came back to as if it had not happened. But in addition to that, I texted them and I said, "All is well. Go back to your honeymoon. It's as if nothing has ever happened. Just live in bliss and denial," or whatever. And I threw everything away. I just threw it all away. But on the way up to the treehouse, I found a white feather on the path. And something told me to take a picture of that white feather and send it to them. So I sent it to them and I said, "I don't know if this means anything for you, but there's this random white feather in the path." And he texted back and he said, "That means more than you could possibly realize. My wife is all choked up and emotional right now." And I thought, wow, fascinating. And then when I went to the dumpster to throw everything away, there was a ladybug. Here it is, January and freezing, and there's a freaking ladybug. And I took a picture and I sent it to them and I said, "Magic is in the air. You guys are being watched over." And he goes, "Ladybugs are my wife's spirit animal." And so anyway, there's something, we're saying, make sure you add protection, make sure you add protection. And that is so important and vital. And yet also be open to the magic, because in the past, we have had streams of raw sewage seep out of one of the RV park, sewer places and actually find some people that were misbehaving, where then they freaked out and they're like, there's raw sewage all over. And we're like, why are you even there? You're trespassing. You know what I mean? But yet here is this woman who got sick, which is also sort of literally shit. And yet they had done nothing wrong. And I was able to continue with their magic and their honeymoon. And so I just think that there's this balancing act that's happening where the protection is necessary, but yet don't block yourselves to the magic and to the gifts and to the interconnected relationships of caring for others. And it's just been.
Cindy, when you were saying that, did you mention a couple years ago that there's in that property thing that there was a gentleman whose family, he's Native American, and his family had helped you with that property, and his family had some connection to it, to that area?
Oh, well, we brought in a Native American expert originally to cleanse and bless the land. And we've had, there's so many stories of this property. I don't know about that particular story, but I know that the person that blessed and cleansed the land had a lot of visions and saw like a chieftain that might have been buried on the land. There was also some guests that stayed where a bear attacked their car, destroyed it. We'd never seen a bear on the property, but it beelined to his car. I don't know that particular story, Deborah. There could be versions of it that are from my property, but I don't know if.
Okay,
And there are
I just kept seeing this young Native American man who had some connection to the property. It's a good thing, and I just didn't know if he was still working for you or what. But there was just something there, and I don't know what it is. So just.
Yeah, many years ago, there was a young man from the area that joined a retreat and that I was helping facilitate. And he has Native American lineage. And I really believe his family has lived or worked upon my property, but I don't know if I would have ever shared that story. He's a lovely, lovely man. He keeps history, tells stories about the natives from that area. So maybe I need to look at him. Look him up.
It just kept coming to mind. So whatever.
Nice.
Well, thank you. Anybody else? Thank you for our time together. Always an honor and a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you, Deborah. This is
Thank you.
lovely.
Thank you, Deborah.
Everybody else.
See ya.